Thanks for checking out GuardiansOfTheGreenBeret.com. Today we present Ramón Montijo. He was sent to us a couple of months ago asking if he was a legit Green Beret or not. And we usually don't just randomly check out people sent to us. We ask that a red flag or two be included in the email. And what was sent was two pictures. One with him wearing first sergeant stripes, and the second with him wearing captain's rank on his beret. So we thought that justified requesting records. When they got in, what records show he earned and what he wears is two different stories. So while we gathered information, we reached out to him and made contact on the phone for him to explain the discrepancies in his records and what he wears. The first phone call got extremely heated quick, and he hung up on us after about 4 minutes. We sent him a link to our website and texted him the next day, asked him if he would consider a second phone call. The second phone call was much more professional, and it lasts about 20 minutes. We go over his records and asked him if he has like a DD 215 correcting the mistakes on his first one. None of that exists. Most of his orders showing he earned what he wears don't exist. The people that told him he could claim he was a Green Beret can't be remembered, but you'll hear both phone calls following. Hello?
Hello. Yes.
Hey, is this Ramon?
Yes, what is it?
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. We're getting ready to do an article on you at GuardiansOfTheGreenBeret.com.
You kidding me? Me?
Yeah. I just wanted to go over your records with you. We see you from 60 to 63 with the 501st, from 73 to 79 in the reserves, from 86 to 99 in National Guard. You were called up for 5 months while you were in the Guard. Then,
reserves.
Okay, and then from 99 to 2001, you were in the National Guard again, correct?
Are you sure it's not the reserves? It was okay. I was, well, let's see. In 75 to 78, I was the 12th Special Forces, and then I joined the 19th Special Forces, and then was with the New Mexico National Guard, and then from there I went to the reserves, where I retired.
Yeah. Well, here's the issue we have. You were never a Green Beret.
Oh, I was grandfathered. I know that.
How do you think you have the right to say you were grandfathered? They grandfathered people if you were...
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
If we're gonna debate this, don't put me in there at all.
How do you think you were grandfathered into anything? You were never a Green Beret.
Listen. Do you know that when I was in Nam, there is not even a record on my 214, what is it, that DD 214?
Yeah.
That I was even overseas. Listen, I'm 80 fucking years old. You think I'm going to worry about what happened 50, 60 years ago? Give a shit.
Why were you wearing...
You know what? I don't care what you do.
But why were you wearing...
It doesn't matter to me.
Why were you...
I got 1 foot in the grave and 1 in a banana peeling.
Well...
I'm going to worry now about what you're going to write, what happened 60 years ago. You know what? Fuck you guys. I don't care.
Hey,
do what you want.
We're going to...
Bring me shit to me. Whatever you want, my friend. You mark it. It's a lie. Because I'm in Vietnam. I never got wounded. Nothing. I don't give a shit, my friend. I'm 80 fucking years old. You think I'm going to stand here and start crying for your asses? Fuck you. Do what you want.
Why were you wearing captain's rank?
Because I was in the New Mexico NMI. I was... You ever heard of New Mexico Military Institute? I was a fucking instructor there. my rank was captain, and that's what I wore. Who gives a fuck?
But you weren't a captain.
I was with a New Mexico Military Institute. Check my fucking records, idiot.
I have your records in.
You know what? Do what the fuck you want. I don't fucking care. Do you understand? Do you read English? Understand English? I don't care.
How do you think you were grandfathered into being a Green Beret? We checked 19th grade.
Enough of the bullshit. I don't give a fuck. Do what the fuck you want. I don't care.
So that didn't quite go as expected, but after the phone call we sent him a link to our website, and the next day we tried to reach out to him again. We were able to reestablish communication, and what follows is a much more professional type dialogue, and we tried to go in depth with his records, and he seems to come around and agree he was not a Green Beret.
Hello?
Yes, sir, Ramon.
Okay. Go to my office here. I want to talk private.
All right.
You're Steve, right?
Yeah. Have you had a...
Oh, Steve. Let me explain to you. First of all, I want to apologize for my outbreak last night. And I'll tell you why. I have never professed that I've ever gone to Special Forces school. I have now gone. I'll tell you why. I'm a retired LAPD officer. I spent 40 years in law enforcement. The only reason I didn't go to Special Forces school because if I did, I would have lost my job. As I told you before, I started back in 1960. We're talking 60-some years ago. In the military.
I got all your records.
I hope you have more than what I have, but let me tell you what I don't have.
Yeah.
Okay. When I went overseas, when I was with the 101st, I was attached to a unit, the first group. Okay. The place I was in was not Vietnam. I didn't say it was Vietnam. It was someplace else. It was a very clandestine thing that happened 60 years ago. I got shot twice, and I stopped in a bunch stick. I have 2 holes, one on my chest, one on my back, and I have 39-stitch scar on my right foot. That was never recorded. It was never recorded I was overseas. Fine and dandy. I have been able to accept that. I have no record. I went to jump school, class 79, the last grade class. I have no record of that. Yet I have pictures of what I went. I don't have a certificate. I went to aerosol school with a lieutenant, Humphreys. I remember his name because we were real tight. I have no record of that. I went to what is it called? Flame warfare school. I have no record of that.
Yeah.
I went to 3.5 with the bazookas, and I went to that school. I have no record of that.
Right.
I left in 63. In 75, I joined the 12th Special Forces, which was a reserve unit in Los Angeles. I went to Panama. We jumped into Panama. I got injured in Panama in a parking lot. I fell off a truck. And it was I remember the Dr. Musa, M-O-S-A, I think it was. He was unattended. I have no record of that. So I cannot prove that with the VA. But okay, I accept that also. I left the 75th, the 12th, and I continued working as a police officer. Subsequently, I went back into the military. I went through a divorce, like everybody else does. My present wife, who was a deputy sheriff, told me to go back in. I joined the 19th Special Forces at Camp Williams, Utah.
Yeah, you were, as an intel analyst or something, weren't you?
I started as an intel analyst, I think it was 96, whatever that was, and then I ended up with a counterintelligence.
Yeah.
To several schools for that.
Right.
Okay. I did several tours in the Philippines. I even went to a jungle school in the Philippines. I think it's called the JES program, Jungle Environmental Survival Training School.
Yeah.
And I ended up I started as an E3 there, and I ended up being an E8 when I left.
And I assume you have also no record of that, correct?
I have some of those records here with me.
Because
as a matter of fact, I went through my book trying to see what I could find. I had that when I was, but then from there, I went into to New Mexico, the National Guard.
Yeah, that was what, 97?
97, 98, 99, something like that.
Yep.
Okay, and then I was an E7, and from there I made E8, and I became a first sergeant of the 647th Area Support Group Reserve Unit in El Paso, and I was there for a couple of years. The drawback was I was preparing our troops. I had about 124 troops that time we're going to get activated. The what is it called? The first Gulf War. I thought I was going to go. I was going to be the first sergeant there. And when they had the going away party, I was informed I was too old, so I was kicked out of the reserves. So I was no longer in the military. I have those papers I have that I had worked on, my retirement papers.
Yep.
But at no time did I ever say that I had gone to Special Forces School. I never went there. I know the grandfather situation. Okay, that was, I was informed when I was for the 12th, especially the 19th, that you are being grandfathered. I have no documentation.
Yeah.
I tell you right, Mr. Steve, I have no documentation on anything of this.
Do you know?
I have no documentation.
Do you know who told you that in the 12th or the 19th?
No, I tell you what, I didn't go to the school.
Yeah, but
I was never a Green Beret to school.
Yeah, but you can't.
Now, okay, let me tell you, my fuck up was, and I'll tell you why. This guy, he was supposed to be a real sergeant in the military. He told me that you can, because you were overseas, I can pitch your records where you can say you got what is it? Because I got wounded, you get what is it called? A Purple Heart. What's the other one? That medal. What was that first medal you get?
Bronze Star?
Well, no. Was it the Bronze Star or something? He said, they give that away like candy, so you have no problem wearing it. My son was great. That was my biggest mistake, and I to this day regret it with my whole heart.
Yep.
That I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit it. I fucked up royally, and I apologize for that. And to this day, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
They tell me that you're no. That was my biggest fault. But as far as going through the school, no.
But do you know your claim of being grandfathered? You can't say that. You weren't grandfathered, and don't know if anybody who would have told you that. Back in Vietnam, if you were assigned to a Special Forces unit for 120 plus days and earned a CIB with that unit, you could be grandfathered into being a Green Beret.
Okay.
That's the only time that program existed. So it's so you weren't grandfathered into being a Green Beret. Now, on your original DD-214, when you got out in 1963, let me see the date here. You know, you sit
June 22nd.
Yeah. You sit across the desk from an individual and they show you your DD-214 and they ask you, are there any omissions? Are there any corrections? Do you remember that? I see on your original DD-214 a parachutist badge, marksman badge, expert rifle, driver and mechanic badge. You would say, wait a minute. What's that?
That's all I remember. You're talking 60 years ago.
I know, my friend. The reason I bring this up, when you were sitting at that desk at that time, you would say, wait a minute, you forgot my CIB and you forgot my Purple Heart and you forgot this and you forgot that, and they would correct it at that time and issue you a more detailed one. However, say they did mess up and it was time for your NGB Form 22, you do the same thing and you say, you know what, they never did put my CIB, my Purple Heart, my Bronze Star, any of that.
I can't prove it.
Oh.
I can't prove any of that.
You
can say anything. There's no way I can prove it.
Okay.
I can't even prove my injuries. I can't prove that I've been wounded.
Right.
I got scars.
Okay.
Scars. And my knees are bad off there.
All right.
I have no.
All right.
I have no documentation. documentation, sir.
Okay, bear with me, and I appreciate this because we're answering a lot of questions. On your uniform, and yesterday I didn't hear you where you said it was actually in your military records. You said you were a captain at New Mexico Military Institute.
Let me explain that. New Mexico Military Institute. I was an instructor there. The New Mexico Military Institute. As an instructor, my rank is captain, and I'm authorized to wear the uniform, and I did wear the uniform. And then that's when I told I wore captain. But any other time, the green suits, or what we call the blue suits, I never wore a rank. I was in my first sergeant instruction.
So you were not a captain in the U.S. military as we know it.
Oh no.
Okay.
And I never said it was.
But you wore the captain's rank on your beret, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a wedding.
Yeah. Now, this is what we see in your records, and you correct me if I'm wrong. The National Defense, Service Medal, Armed Forces, Reserve Medal, NCO Professional Development, Army Service Ribbon, Reserve Component, Overseas Training Ribbon. We do see a Master Parachutist badge, and we see a Expert Driver. Okay? You know what we don't see? Everything else you wear. We don't see a CIB. And if I mention one of these and you have paperwork for that, we can help you get it corrected, because nowhere, anywhere in your records does it show. But we don't see a combat infantry badge, which you say you can't prove, or a Bronze Star, or a Purple Heart. We don't see any Army Commendation Medals. We don't see any Army Achievement. We don't see a Good Conduct. We don't see a Reserve Component Army Achievement. We don't see Humanitarian Service Medal.
What do you mean? You don't have, they should be there.
No, none of them. We don't see a Vietnam Service Medal. None of these. We don't see Global War on Terror Service Medal. We don't.
You're kidding me.
No, none. And that's what I'm saying. If you actually have those orders, we could help you correct this. We don't see a Special Forces tab. Why do you wear a Special Forces tab?
Because, okay, that's the other thing. I worked with those guys for so many years. I felt, I'm not going to say title, but I was informed. Don't tell me, ask me who, I don't remember. You can wear it. Granted, okay, there's the thing where my big mistakes are.
Yeah, huge mistakes. But,
yeah, but I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not denying it.
Yep. What about, you wear a Pathfinder badge. You didn't earn that.
I went to Pathfinder school with a guy, I told you that. Lieutenant Humphrey, that's the only two guys I remember. There was also Lieutenant Green. Those are the only two people that I remember at Fort. I have no doubt. I don't even have my certificate from film school. And I know I have a picture. I got it posted. It was class 79.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of this paperwork.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't have documentation.
Well, yeah,
Fucked up.
Yep, that's terrible. Well,
and let me tell you this, Steve. I am 60 years old.
Yeah,
Correction, I'm 80 years old.
I thought you were like 82.
I'm pretty close to, okay, I'm cheating. Okay, the thing is, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
I don't care. I'll never wear another uniform. I will never say I'm a Green Beret.
Did you say you were grandfathered when you were under oath? Did you say you were grandfathered to be in a Green Beret?
Never. I was never around the world for any of these things.
Yep.
No. None of this was. As a matter of fact, when I was informed of that, I was the grandfather. I don't even remember the lieutenant. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I remember this because we were in Alaska.
All right.
But what's that? There's a Ranger unit up in Alaska that we did some training. And I was in E4. The guy made me a sergeant. He said, you know what? At this point now, I'm grandfather you're in. And those were the words.
Yeah.
I've always used that. But I had no documentation. I had no documentation of injuries. I even I tried to go to the VA. And he said, do you have any documentation? I don't.
Right.
So that's it with me. I tell you, I'm 80 years old. Why am I going to worry about anything? What got me is with real said, I'm going to fuck you up, I'm going to burn you. And then you said, you're going to put it on paper. Fine.
All right.
Sir, not to be disrespectful or anything, it doesn't bother me anymore.
All right. Hey, you might.
Never wear uniform.
Yep, I appreciate that. You might want to at least break it to your son that you weren't a Green Beret, because it's our understanding that he aspired to be a Green Beret like you.
Well, he knows that.
Yeah, but he knows you weren't a Green Beret?
He knows I never went to the school.
Well,
he knows I was with the 19th, you know.
Yeah, but,
with the 12th.
But you wore the long tab in front of him, so he assumes that you were a SF qualified individual. And
oh no, he knows I'm not.
Okay, because all right, that sounds good. As long as he knows it, why in the heck would he let you wear that if he knows you weren't a Green Beret?
Well, it wasn't about me, that graduation. It's him.
Yep.
And you know what? I didn't do it to offend him. And what good is it going to do me now to try? He and I have talked about it. I've talked to my family about that. They know that. And they ask me, "You been to Vietnam?" I say no. Okay, you just... Why am I going to...
All right, yesterday you told me you went to Vietnam, but today you say you didn't.
I didn't go to Vietnam.
Yesterday, in a very heated discussion, you did say.
Because what I can tell you, I was in a neighboring country. Does that suffice? I was in a neighboring country.
Yeah.
I can't say, well, we weren't there.
You're right.
This is the thing, people... Sir?
So you...
There is no record. This is the thing about it. You can see I'm blind. Fine. Now it doesn't matter, sir.
All right.
Think about it. I'm 80 years old. What am I going to try to fix now?
Well,
I made a mistake.
Yep. All right.
I confess to it. I did make a mistake.
All right, brother.
It was big here.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate the.
Let me tell you. I know you're doing a job, and I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. You're doing a hell of a job. And you know, I love my country. I love the Green Berets. I've worked with those guys for as long as I can remember. That's the only unit I've actually worked with until I became a first sergeant. But other than that, I'm not going to do anything anymore.
Well,
too fucking old to even walk.
If we didn't reach out to you, and you could tell me no or whatever, the next time somebody got married, you would probably be wearing a military uniform with a Special Forces long tab and a Purple Heart and a CIB, correct?
Yes.
Well, see?
But I wouldn't do it. Not anymore.
Well, and what you just said is, had we not reached out to you, you probably would have. And that's the only reason we do what we do.
No, I am done. I spent 40 years in law enforcement.
Yep.
I went from a police officer to chief of police.
Yep.
And I know about uniforms. And that was one of my biggest mistakes.
Well, you made two mistakes. You made two huge mistakes. You wore it at your son's graduation and at your daughter's wedding.
Yeah, you understand.
Yep. All right, brother. Hey, I won't keep you any longer. I appreciate the dialogue. This was much better than the heated conversation we had yesterday, and I will move on and try.
My anger was not directed to you, sir. That I apologize, but the old saying is, if my enemy angers me, he has won, and Rios won that battle. But that's what it all started.
Well, a lot of people get angry when they're called on their false claims to him.
I understand.
Yep.
I agree with you.
Yep. All right, brother. Out here.
Thank you, sir.
We'll have a link to the article on our website in our description section. You could see his records in detail and check out all the other frauds and phonies we've exposed over the years at guardiansofthegreenberet.com.